Hello. So in this project so far, we have everything really kind of working except for the percentile dice and a few other things that we can adjust. So um, the percentile die, I want to get the duplication working right now in this video because none of them line up or anything. They're both stacked on top of each other. So we'll fix that. And then we will go on from there. So let's look at this. I'm going to look at the button press and see where we're going to need to adjust some things. In the clear scene, it doesn't matter. Import dice. Let's see, with the 100-sided dice, it's imported them. So that is good. We just need to um, check from here on out, duplicate and transform. So we have that function here. So this is actually probably in the import we can actually start working with them, make sure that they are aligned correctly. So we have both these files. What I want to do is group those together. And then we can take the group and make it move that instead of moving the dice. So if we go here, we have the two dice. One is called D100 and then the other one's called D10. So we can group it based off of those names. So let's in this part of the code here do mc.group, and then we can group the D10 and D100 and give it a name. So name equals, let's call it percentile dice GRP for group. And this has to be a string. So let's make that a string. So let's see if that works. And we'll take the percentile, roll them. So we do have a percentile group, and it does move them. So that is good. Now let's go in here and make a little bit more adjustments. So let's say we take the D100 dice and move it over a little bit. So we are going to take the D100 dot translate x, and let's do it maybe -5 and see how that looks. And if it's off, we can adjust it. So percentile, so maybe double that. So we'll do -10. And let's go here and run it. Okay, we'll do 20. -20. And check the percentile dice. That looks good. And then now that we have that, we have the group, and this is zeroed out completely. Let's say if we move this, or if we were to duplicate this and then move it negative, or not negative, but 20, that would be too little bit. 40 would be just right, but then it gets confusing, a little bit confusing to read. So let's say every 45, 50. Yeah, we'll separate them by 50. That way there's a little space in between each set. So 50 units for each one when we duplicate it. So we'll take that, and let's take the name of the group. And duplicate and transform. We are going to look at the percentile. I'm just going to copy all this. If dice type is equal to percentile, then we want to duplicate the percentile dice group. Then I'm just going to copy these so that way we get that information there. And replace D20 with percentile group. And the Z and X information is fine. Instead of separating it by 20 units, we are going to separate it by 50. So let's test that really quick. And if we do the percentile, roll it, that looks fine. If we do 10 of them, that looks good. And if we do over 20, or 10, something like 20, we should get an additional row, which is perfect. Thinking about it, maybe moving in this direction, it doesn't have to be 50 units. So if we look at this one, it can still be the same 20 units. Let's separate it maybe by 30 units. Make that kind of nice looking. So I'm gonna go back here, and the translate Z is what I want to adjust by 30 units. And that's not 20-sided, but percentile. And D20 dice. So that's a little bit neater, easier to follow. And then we are done for this video. In the next video, we'll look at setting up the rotations on this. So that way we don't have to do all 100 different rotations. We can do much less. I think it's about 20 conditions. So that will be helpful for us. All right. So we'll see you guys in the next lesson.